what is it that makes a difference in a successful life? And like, is it positive mental attitude? I don't think so, because I see plenty of grouchy people who succeed. Is it a great plan? No, I see people who have great plans who don't succeed. And I'm not just even talking about like business success or entrepreneurial success. I'm talking about life success. I'll tell you a story that'll give you a hint. In the last years of my father's life, before we moved him up here to Connecticut, he was living in a little town in South Carolina, and he'd lived there for about 10 years. And he had an eye surgery appointment that he had to go to. Because it was eye surgery, he was obviously not going to be able to drive himself home. We were talking about the logistics of that because I was not able to go down there and be with him for that surgery. And he said, sort of offhandedly, I've lived in this town for 10 years and I don't have anyone that I could ask to drive me to the hospital. Now, my dad was not a real people person. He was sort of an anti-people person. He wasn't great at human relationships. He was friendly and nice. I mean, he wasn't an unpleasant person at all, but he didn't like hanging out with people. And I said to him, I was like, Dad, it's really too bad that you were never into like the church thing. That's a body of people who are like intentionally committed to niceness. Organizations like that are great to be part of. And he was like, yeah, no, that's not for me. I'm like, yeah, I know. But it's what you need. What you need is other people. What you need is relationships with other people, real relationships with other people. Whether you're trying to just get through life, you need other people. Like you need recommendations for a better podiatrist. You need to know how to get to wherever. You need to know who's got fresh zucchini. What do? You call other people. You need a new job. You want somebody to date. You want clients. You want speaking gigs. You want to sell books. You want to promote your international grassroots movement. You want to fill up a yoga class. You want to know where to go for good sushi. Your whole life is filled with questions that other people have the answer to, and you need to know how to find them and how to ask them. Think about the different lists of people that you need in your life. We have our list of family, and we are sometimes close or not close to those people. But for some people, their family is a good list of people they can ask for things. However, your family is also a little bit same, right? You're going to get kind of the same answers from them that you might even get for yourself. So it's helpful to have other people with a different perspective. A circle of close friends, which is great. That's a great list to have too. Who are your very closest friends? And again, if you can count those on the fingers of one hand, if you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 close friends, people that you can really be truthful and vulnerable with, people who will show up for you no matter what, you've had a successful life. Those friends don't always stay the same. My friend Shasta Nelson is a friendship expert, and she says that we cycle through about, what did she say, 50% of our friends every 7 years. So it's a very natural flow to have people sort of flow in and out of your life as friends. We don't try to keep people forever, but hopefully we have a few people who've known us for a really long time. So you've got your family, you've got your circle of close friends. You probably have a circle of people at work that you would trust to ask a question to, that you would want to hang out with. You may or may not be besties, but in the context of work, you would say you're friends. But here's the thing, right? You leave that job and all of a sudden you're not friends anymore. And here's what Shasta Nelson taught me about that. If you are part of a group or organization and you're the one who leaves, it is your responsibility to stay back in touch, because they didn't go anywhere. They still have their group. You're the one who left. So if you want to stay, if you still want to go to the Wednesday lunches, or you still want to be friends with them, it is your job to stay in touch with them. I think sometimes we have that feeling of like, well, but I left that job and they never called me. Right. Because they're still there. I moved from California almost 2 years ago. I go back often. I've been back 4 or 5 times now, because it's my job to stay in touch with those friends. And that's how important they are to me. What else? You probably need some kind of board of advisors, people you want to talk to when you've got sort of a big decision to make. And for some people, that's a spiritual counselor, like their preacher or their rabbi or their teacher. Maybe you're in a mastermind group of some kind. I'm in a couple of those. I find those invaluable. Other people who are better at what I do than I am. I love being in circle with those people that I can ask questions of and hear their stories and learn from them, right? And if you've got any kind of a business or a cause at all, you need people, you need clients, right? You need customers. And even if it's for your nonprofit or, for the PTA or for the schoolyard or for whatever, you need a list of people who are going to do the things that you need them to do. And if that's buy your product or buy your service or attend your class or show up for the bake sale or whatever, you need a list of those people. The reliable ones, right? Not just the ones who are like, oh yeah, I'll totally help, but then they never do anything. You know those people? Not those people. The people who will actually do something. You also probably need a list of other people in your field. Another person might call competitors. I would call them companions, right? Because they probably don't do exactly what you do. But you need people to be able to refer people to. Oh, I can't help you, but please call my friend so-and-so. People you can keep their eye on. How much are they charging? Oh, that person's doing that way. That's interesting. Oh, they've just added a retreat. These are the things that keep us growing and learning, because we've got this peer group, sort of. Maybe that's what I'm really saying, is a peer group. of people who do what you do or are interested in what you're interested in. So that's the short version of what I wanted to say to you today is you need people and you need lists of people and you need to organize those lists of people. You need to organize the list. You need to have the list. You need to own the list. Oh, I have them on a Facebook group. Well, that's terrific until Facebook goes down, which it does and has and will again. I just read an article the other day about a woman who was doing $100,000 a month in business selling stuff on Facebook. Facebook shut her down. And you may know this about Facebook, but there's no customer service. If you get shut down, that's the end of the story. There's no one you can talk to. There's no court of appeals. There's no phone number. There's no accelerated access to, nope, nothing. Her whole business disappeared overnight because she didn't own the list. Facebook owned the list. People say, oh, I've got a podcast. I've got all these listeners on my podcast. Terrific. But you don't know who they are. You can't reach them. You can't make them do anything. Podcast listeners, especially, while they may be big fans, they're notoriously passive. Even I have podcasts that I'm a huge fan of. And I'm listening in the car and they're like, hey, we're doing a drive for this charity. Or, hey, come get some swag. Or, hey, do this, like us and subscribe, whatever they're asking for. And every time I'm like, yeah, I'm totally going to do that because I'm a fan. Have I ever? Once? And that's me. I'm the person who always returns the shopping cart. Like, you can usually count on me to do anything. So you need to own the list. Now, you can just own it in your contacts. That's fine. But I'm telling you, when you work somewhere, save the names and numbers, LinkedIn profiles and whatever, of the people that you like and think of as friends. Because eventually, you or someone's going to leave that job. And you may need their expertise again. And you want to be able to reach them. And you don't want to be the one going, oh my God, 6 weeks ago I had access to the company directory, and now I don't. So you want to get people from wherever they are. They're your podcast listeners. They're the people you see at the coffee shop. They're the people at church. They're the people at your class, they're the people wherever you see them that you think, oh yes, those are my people. These are people that I'm connected with, that I'm in some kind of ongoing conversation with. Get their name and number, get their email address. You want to be able to reach them personally, and especially in the event of a crisis. And a crisis can be everything from, oh my God, we need a wedding cake tomorrow, to there's a tornado just come through town. We need to fundraise for this family today, to I'm looking for a new job and I don't have time to waste, to I'm filling a program. Are you interested? Do you know anybody who's interested? The whole human world is just made up of these endless intersecting nets, these connections, right? 6 degrees of separation. I want you to think about what you need in your life right now and who is on your list of people that you can reach out to who could help get you there or might have some advice for you. Human relationships are everything. And I will say it's one of the great things about social media is that it's sort of eliminated that it's been too long, because there are people that I haven't seen or spoken to in 30 years, but we're friends on Facebook. So I've sort of kept up with their lives. And now I've got a new book coming out. You guys might know, The 15-Minute Method. The Surprisingly Simple Art of Getting It Done. Get your pre-orders in now. It's easy for me to reach out to them and say, hey, I've noticed you're selling real estate in Seattle. That's so great. Hey, are you interested in blah, blah, blah? Can you do me this favor of blah, blah, blah? So here's the bit of hard news though. If you are used to sending group emails via Gmail, Yahoo, Earthlink, your personal email account, you can't do that anymore. It's actually illegal to do that now. You need to have a website-based email address, like sam@therealsambennett.com, if you are going to be sending to more than 5 people at a time. If you're just sending individual emails, fine. But you know as well as I do, if you're looking to get people to the bake sale, get people to fill your yoga class, get people into your coaching program, get people to buy your book, you don't want to be doing it one at a time. You want to be able to send to the whole list. These are relationships that you have built that are important for you, and you need to be able to communicate with those people, but you need to own the list, and you cannot do it anymore from your Gmail account. Luckily for you, I have a training coming up this weekend called the Bunny Slope, which is the cutest name for a course ever. And what the Bunny Slope is about finding the right people out in the world, because this is what I hear all the time, right? Well, I don't know anybody like that. I don't know anybody who wants to pay $20,000 to go on an international retreat. I don't know anybody who wants to take this yoga class. I don't know anybody who could help with the bake sale. I don't know anybody who could give me advice about my sick friend or whatever. How do you find those people? Because there's certainly no shortage of those people in the world. When I was a girl growing up in Chicago, I would take the L everywhere. Oftentimes going by in the L, I would imagine that there was a person for every window of every building and every apartment and every office. I would be amazed at the number of people in the world. Wow, that's so many people. A window for every person. So we know there's all those people out there. Again, yes, you're right. You may not know them, but if you can reach them and then get them on your list, and then you can be talking to them via email, which I think is the easiest and best way to talk to people about anything, because they get to do it on their own time. You're not interrupting them. They don't need to be logged into anything like Facebook or whatever. They're checking their email. People check their email like 60 times a day. And email's cheap. It's easy to use. It's a great way to have a heart-to-heart conversation with somebody, or 1,000 somebodies at a time. If you are feeling like you would like more satisfaction in your life, please understand that what you really want is better lists. Lists of people who are interested in what you're interested in. Lists of people you can count on. therealsambennett.com/bunny slope. We're going to write your first 5 emails so you don't have that like, oh, I don't know what to say. We're going to give you what to say so it feels real, it feels authentic, it feels good to the person who's receiving it, because that's the biggest thing we want. We're going to create a little, what we call lead magnet, a little freebie, a little something that can entice the right people onto your list, and then communicate with them and then get them to do the thing that you want them to do that hopefully is good. It's an all-day training. We'll have the whole thing recorded. It's going to be super easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I've taught this class before. It was a massive success. So I'm excited to do it again. Conventional wisdom around an email list is that every subscriber is worth at least $100 a year per subscriber per year. So if you have a list of a couple hundred people, you can make a couple $1,000 for you and your business, or for your cause, your team, your place of worship, your whatever, your nonprofit, whatever it is you're up to. And I don't know anybody who'd turn their nose up at a couple $1,000. And if you get like 1,000 people, well, then you could have $10,000 a year. You get a couple thousand people, you can get a couple of tens of $1,000s a year just from sending emails, and not intrusive emails and not pushy emails, genuine, heartfelt, real emails. I get almost every time I send an email, I get somebody writing back to me saying, oh my God, I feel like you were writing it just to me. And that's what I want. I'm going to teach you how to strike that tone. I know you feel like, oh, there's tech. I hate tech. My face is melting. I hate tech. No, we're going to make the tech so easy. You're going to be gobsmacked. And if you already have an email system set up, if you have MailChimp or you have Keep or you have ActiveCampaign or whatever, that's great. It'll work with that. But we are going to get your freebie and your first 5 emails done. By dinner time on May 18th, you will have your email setup done, or I will know the reason why. I know a lot of you already signed up for this. Those of you who are in Get It Done Lab, get it as a bonus, so don't sign up for it because you're already in it. But if you are not in one of those higher end programs, go to therealsambennett.com/bunny slope. One of the things I see that gets in the way of people's success is overwhelm, right? There's too many things. There's too many things. There's too many ideas. There's too many platforms. There's too many things to do. I don't know where to start. Let me make this super easy for you. It's literally all you need. I've been at this since 2009 full time. I have literally never done anything except email. I've never really done Facebook ads. I've never done a lot of speaking engagements. I've never done any I've had a couple of limited edition podcasts. If you are trying to make your life more successful, make your business more successful, make your non-for-profit more successful, make your artistic endeavor more successful, or just make your social life more successful, you need a list, and you need to be able to segment the list, because you don't want to be talking to the people that you know from your job 2 jobs ago in the same way that you talk to your best friends from kindergarten. So we don't want to just be sending the same thing to everybody all the time. And there are ways to do that that are super simple. You get a couple hundred people on this list, you can make a couple of grand. That's not a promise. Your mileage may vary, obviously. But that's an industry standard, and it's certainly been my experience. And like I said, you're not going to be able to do it from Gmail. And you may feel like, oh, I can do this myself, Sam. I can create an opt-in. I can create a lead magnet. I can write my first 5 emails. Of course you can. But in a day, and will you? I know you can, but will you? If you're sort of just interested in this, but you're not sure if you want to sign up, go to therealsambennett.com/bunny slope. And there's a whole training that I did a couple of weeks ago down at the bottom of the page. It's free. You don't have to opt in or anything. You can just watch it. And it'll sort of walk you through a little bit more precisely why email matters, how you can use it, how I built a 6-figure business emailing poems, literally. Poems, people. Cost for May 18th it's just about $500, I think. And of course, satisfaction guaranteed, or your tuition cheerfully refunded. If you take this class and feel like it's not worth it, just let us know. We're happy to give you your money back. I think you'll be able to get your money back almost immediately. You'll have everything all set up. You can implement on the night of the 18th. Like, you can start making money from this on Saturday night. So how's that for instant gratification? Lori says, wow, just went out to buy a fridge and had conversations with 3 different people who I had past history, or just because they wanted to talk about their mother's chemo or their process to get to the pretty pink hair color. Quite the morning. These little conversations, these little touch points are everything to us. You know, we're human animals. We're tribal animals. We are meant to live in a group. And I talked to so many people. I mean, this just breaks my heart. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I was living in a small town in California. I was living in Carpinteria, and I went to the nail salon to get my nails done. And I liked the salon because they specialized in natural nails. Like, if you didn't want any polish or anything, you just wanted your nails to be groomed and clipped, they would do that. So I go in to get my nails done, and the person who was doing my nails turned out to be the woman who owned the salon. So we're chatting, and I noticed that she's got, and maybe you have one of these too, she's got one of those tatty old spiral notebooks up by the cashier's desk. like, give us your name and email address and we'll put you on the list or whatever. And I said, so what happens to those names and emails? And she goes, oh my God, I don't even know. She said, I don't think anything happens with them. I think we used to have a list, but I don't think so. We have it anymore. And I don't really know. And I can't bring myself to care. And I'm like, you have people walking into the store, giving you their name and email and saying, I would like to hear from you. And you can't get it together to send them something once a week that says like Tuesday special, 10% off. I'm like, would 1 or 2 extra customers a day make a difference for you? She said, oh yeah, that would make a big difference. I'm like, so why are you not reaching out to these people? Oh, it's, spring, get your spring fling manicure done today. Prom season, anything. Oh yeah, she says, that's a good idea. I'm like, I know. And I said, here's the thing with emails. It's just like, you're just sort of waving to people, you're just sort of like, hi, I'm doing that thing that I do, whatever your thing is, right? I'm selling art. I'm raising money for the playground. I'm whatever I do, right? I'm sharing information about the cats. If anybody wants cat information, I love sharing it. Whatever it is, you're just standing there waving at people. And if they're not interested, they'll delete, they'll move on. It's no big deal. But if they are interested, there you are, right? And she said, oh, that's true. She goes, every time I go to the grocery store, I always run into 3 or 4 people who are like, ooh, I've been meaning to call you. I'm like, right. So we're not bothering people. We're doing a service for people, reminding them of the thing they want: nice nails, fine art, a new book, information about the cats, to contribute to the playground, whatever. And email is such a calm, unobtrusive, non-noisy way to do it. Generally speaking, the ROI, the return on investment for email, is $40 for every dollar you spend on email marketing. That's across all industries. So that's, again, not a promise. I don't know what your number is going to be, but across all industries in general, the return on investment for email is 40 to 1. So that's a 4,000% ROI. And like I said, it's easy, it's fun, it's old school. You don't have to learn any new technology. You don't have to go on camera if you don't want to. And people can opt out anytime. You can never bother anybody because they're in control of when they opt out. And then you say, God bless the unsubscribes. I love you. Go find your people. You'll see it. If you sign up for the bunny slope, if you go to therealsambennett.com/bunny slope, it's easy. It's fun. It works especially well for smart people, literate people, people who like to write, people who like to read. Emails can be so short. They can be other people's quotes. I have a series called 365 Reasons to Create. People signed up for it and they would get an email from me every single day. And if it skipped, if the system ever got glitchy and it skipped, I would hear from people. Sam, I didn't get number 111. I got 110 and I got 112, but I didn't get 111. Where's 111? I'm like, okay. If you're giving people value, there's no limit to how often you can email them. There are a couple of equestrian celebrities I'd like to reach. Email is a great way to do that. And when you can reach out to those celebrities and say, hey, by the way, I have a list of 5,000 fans of equestrian art, that's a very powerful statement. I'm telling you, it's how I got my first book deal. I was nobody, literally nobody, when I made my first book deal, but I had a list of 5,000 people. And they were like, okay, we think she could sell some books. And I could. Can you use email to reach Jessica Springsteen? Better yet, you build up the decent email list, she's going to find you. This is what I want you doing, is you building a big enough bonfire that people are reaching out to you, right? And then you can partner with other people. You say, hey, I've got a list of 5,000 fans of equestrian whatever, or 5,000 people who want to help build the playground, or 5,000 people who are interested in yoga or cats or whatever it is. Oh, and here's a person who does breath work. Well, I'll send an email to my list for your people and we'll tag them specially. And if they enroll in your thing, you can kick me back some money, or we can just share it to be generous. It's a great way to build your own list, build relationships. I'm kind of getting into the weeds here on this. Let me back up. So the number one thing you need for a successful life of any kind, any way, shape, or form, entrepreneurial or not, is other people. You need good relationships with other people. You need to cultivate those relationships. You need to stay in touch with them, and you need to own the list. So you have a way to stay in touch with them, because if they're only friends on Facebook or they're only friends you see at the gym, well, if you stop going to that gym, you don't have any way to reach them. You need to get them on your list. Grim says, I have gazillions of Facebook friends who are equestrians. How do we get them via email? This is the trick, is to convert them from social media friends to your email list. And we do that with what's called a lead magnet. You've seen them a million times. It's that freebie. It's the here, opt in here to get my free white paper on XYZ, or to get my free coloring book, or to get my free audio on this, or get a download of this. It's an exchange. They give you their name and email, you give them the free thing, and now they're on your list and you have permission to email them. They have raised their hand and said, yes, I would like to hear from you. They've asked for it. You're not bothering them. They've asked for it. If they stop wanting it, they'll unsubscribe. End of story. You can see how interested they are. You can see if they open. You can see if they click. You can see if they download. You want engagement. You want people writing you back, saving it to a folder, forwarding it to a friend. So we want this circle, this virtuous cycle. People who are interested, you give them something, a little freebie. We're going to make that freebie on the 18th, by the way, together in real time. We are going to make you a freebie that then you can offer to the people on Facebook or the people wherever that you see, when you're giving a talk or something. You can say, hey, get this free thing, get my slides. They give you your name and email. And just a little bit of technology to do that. It's so super easy. You're going to laugh at how easy it is. And then you start sending them emails. Now they're on your list. And now you can do whatever you want with them. I would email them at least once a week. A little tip for the day, some update, some hot news, some hot gossip, some fun, something funny, something engaging, right? Something you would like to receive. Or, again, like the 10% off. There's a massage therapy place not far from me. And every morning, this is so genius. Every morning they send out an email that says last minute specials. And it's the same email every day. Or, I mean, the structure of it's the same. And they just say, we have an opening for a facial at 2:30. We have an opening for a massage at 4. So if you happen to be in the mood that day and you commit, they'll give you 10% off, whatever, if you book that last minute appointment. How smart is that? It fills up those empty time slots on their calendar. And it reminds me every single day that they're there and I should book with them. And we can put a thing at the bottom. You see this at the bottom of my emails sometimes. Like, if you want to hear from me less often, click here. And then we segment to the people who just want to hear from us once a month. Fine, no problem. So we have people, we engage with people in the way they would like to be engaged with, about the subjects that they're interested in, and then you can do anything. So therealsambennett.com/bunny slope. And you'll see there's a whole training video down there. You can check the whole thing out and see if this is really right for you or not. But I'd love to see you there. If you can't be there on the 18th, just sign up anyway, because we'll get to the recording. And if you have any questions, you can always just email me and then I will answer you. Anything else? All right. Let's do one more breath to close out this session. Thank you so much for being here and for spending this time with me. For those of you who are already enrolled in Bunny Slope, I'm very excited. I just came up with some new strategies, actually, just yesterday, that I am over the moon excited about. It's going to be even easier, even cheaper, even better for you. And again, to just make that life of yours so rich, make sharing your gifts so simple, so that when you get to the end of your days, you will know that you enriched the lives of everyone you touched, because that's who you are. That's what you do. And we love you for it. You ready? One more breath. Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thanks, everybody. Go to therealsambennett.com/bunny slope.